What's happening, everybody? About 5:30 a.m. I just rolled out here in the shop. Got the old wood stove cranked up. Get some heat in here. Having my cup of coffee. We got some 1320 playing in the background. Some old Cash Days on the old TV there. It's low 40s and raining outside. Pretty shitty day, actually. But I figured I'd come out here today. There's a couple things I want to try and get done out here in the shop. First thing, though, I have to get this shop cleaned up. It looks like a bomb went off in here after we got the El Camino all put back together. I mean, there's crap everywhere. I got tools all over the benches. I got stuff laying on the floor. It's to the point where I can't even walk or find tools. And which everybody knows, I'm sure you guys been in the same spot. It gets to that point you have to take time and go ahead and put everything away, get everything swept up, cleaned up before we start, getting into something else. But after we go ahead and get the shop cleaned up, I want to get the old blazer pulled away from the wall and jack the back end up and see if I can go ahead and determine what size coilovers we're going to need for the back of it. You guys all know it sits way too low in the back. Even after I put the big block in the front with the cast iron heads, it still sat, it had the Carolina squats going on, which is not acceptable. So I want to get that pulled away from the wall, get it jacked up, and see if I can get the one coilover off, get it measured, and see what we're going to need to bring the back end up. I'll probably wait until later on in the morning and give Jason over at JW Race Cars a call and see if he can give me some pointers on how to do it. I have never measured, because I know you have to be like half travel at ride height. That way you got enough room to go either, extension or squat. Because if I'm going to be running bias ply on here all the time, either slicks or the old bias ply Hoosier. So we're going to be, when it leaves, it's going to squat. It ain't going to extend. I don't plan on putting radials on it. It is going to be a 28 or 29 10.5, one of the two. It's going to be a small tire truck, but I don't plan on running radials on it, so that comes into play. So I don't know exactly how to go about measuring that. And I don't want to take it down there and have any more put on Jason's plate, because when it goes down there, he's going to be doing the final adjustments to the chassis as far as, determining ride height, pinion angle. And I talked to him last week, and I am going to get a set of custom-built headers for it. He's like, well, do you want titanium, stainless steel? Or I was like, no, we're going to get a regular set of headers built, and I'm going to send them out and get them ceramic coated. Because if we blow this big block up, shit happens. If we end up blowing the big block up, it's getting a small block 427 put in it. You guys know I've always wanted to build one of them engines. So if I blow the big block up, it's getting a small block 427 in it. So, but first things first, I have to go ahead and get this shop cleaned up before we start getting into anything else. And so I'm going to put you guys on the tripod, and I'm going to go ahead and start getting my butt in gear, finish my coffee, and get the shop cleaned up, and see what we can get into on the old blazer here. See if we can get this figured out and get it ready to roll back down to Jason. right, everybody. Hopefully you guys can hear me. We're under here. Let me see what measurement we got from center. Look like 15.5 from center to center. Is what I'm going to call that. I mean, there's 16 right there, and it goes to the top of the bolt, so I'm going to say 15.5 is where they're at right now. And I'm going to have to, this bracket here on the bottom location bracket that comes off the rear end for the shock is at the top adjustment right now. So we would have to adjust this bracket that holds the coil over. I'd like to put that all the way down to the bottom hole, which would give us, let me see, what is that? 3 inches. So if we go 3 inches, yeah, that'd be perfect. The top mounting hole would be right. You probably can't see it due to the camera angle, but so if I went to center here, that's about center. Let me see, there's going to be 4 holes. So with that shock location there, 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm thinking 20.5 would be what I would want to go with at full drop. I mean, the shock would be fully dropped, so I'd have my shaft. Of course, then when I'd set it up, we want to set the piston halfway in the shock. So I don't know if that plays in the part of the measurement or not. Like I said, I'm going to go in and give Jason a call and see what he says. It's getting, I think it's around 8:30 now. So I'll give him a call in a little bit and see what he says. I know I want to drop this shock bracket down on the rear end bracket because it's fully topped out right now. So that's probably what I'm going to do. I'm probably going to give him a call and see what he says. And then I'm going to clean some of this stuff up under here. Hold on a second. Let me climb out of here. Get you off the tripod for a second. Yeah, that's that bracket here I was saying. I want to drop this down to the bottom hole. That'll give me 4 holes, so the top mounting point would be 4 holes from the bottom. Everything's just dirty on here. I'm going to clean this. This was a rear end that was out of a tubbed out S10, I guess. But there's the location of that. And if I let the jack all the way down, it puts pressure on that anti-roll bar to where they're straight up and down, and I didn't want to do that. Even these brake hoses look like they got a bend in them. Hopefully they come back. So I gotta get that figured out. But I'm gonna give him a call, guys, and I'll bring you right back. All right, well, I just got off the phone with Jason, and he told me basically I'm just chasing my tail. He said until I get all the weight on the front end of the truck and we get the ride height set on the front of the truck, we're not going to be able to determine the shock length, the coilover length in the back until we get that done. So in turn, I'm going to have to go ahead, wait till I get some help here. and we're gonna have to get the old front clip out there that's still out on blocks and get it put on the trailer and get it up here and get it stuck on the front of the truck, because that's probably 150 to 200 pounds. I mean, that's all steel. It's still got the original steel bumper behind the plastic ground effects in the front there, steel hood, steel fenders, big 4-core aluminum radiator, the fans, all that good stuff. So he told me, he said it's no big deal. He said get the front clip put back on it, and then when we take it down to him, he'll go ahead and get the front ride height set, do his pinion angle, do all the final adjustments he's got to get done to the chassis done, and then he'll go ahead and undo the shocks or the coilovers, and he'll jack the chassis up to where he wants it. You know, after he gets the front ride height set, he'll jack the chassis up in the back after he gets all the coilovers undone, and he can just take a measurement, and then he can let me know, and then bolt the old stuff back up, and when I bring it home, then I can go ahead and order what I'm going to need. So I told him, well, that'll work. So basically, all this measurement and stuff, I told you, I'm not perfect. I don't know how to do, you know, this 4-link chassis setup. Setting up chassis is quite hard, you know, in my eyes. I mean, I will get the hang of it. I own the truck, so I'm going to have to figure it out, and not have, you know, to rely on somebody if I want to make a bar angle change or whatever. But like I said earlier, we're not going to be running radials. This is a 29 14 50 15. You guys can see there, 29 14 50 15 Hoosier Quick Time Pros, which is a bias ply tire. Obviously, we're not going to run the 1450s. I might at first, but we're going to, you know, get into the small tire stuff, which will be a 28 or a 29 10.5. But that's the setup that's going on there. We're not going to be radial racing it, so there's going to be, we ain't got to worry about extension on the shocks. When you run a bias ply slick or like the Hoosier QuickTime bias, QuickTime Pro bias plies, you get squat. You don't get extension on your takeoff when you let out the button. So I'm glad I called him. You know, like I said, I want this 100%, you know, correct. I don't feel like when I let the button off for the first time and it does something stupid, you know, from my mistake, miscalculations of the, you know, the coilover binding up or what have you because I ordered the wrong stuff, or the chassis ain't set up right, and I wrecked this thing the first time I let out the button. So I guess basically all I can do now is just wait until the missus gets home and go ahead and go get some brake clean and get everything all cleaned up in here and wire wheel all the surface rust on the axles and clean up the rest of the chassis and get it ready. And I found some brake hardware that I had, I think they're the old pins off the El Camino. But I got to wire wheel the rotor and figure out what brake pads go for that caliper. And I still got stuff to do. We actually got, I got all my other stuff up here laid out. You guys remember I bought the new nuts and some spacers and stuff for the big wheels. These are the 5/8 flange nuts. Guys, look at this fuel. This is the fuel that I drained out of the El Camino's carburetor when I did my jet change, probably a week and a half ago, maybe at the 2 weeks at the longest. And you know, this, it was filled up to there and it evaporated already. And look at that, that's like, it's like tar. That's that that BP racing fuel. Is not VP, it's BP racing fuel that I get out of Saginaw, and I don't like that at all. I mean, I'm gonna have to flush this fuel system on the El Camino after the winter because I'm afraid it's gonna be gummed up. I mean, it from 2 weeks, and it's already looking like that in that that container. It's gonna be nasty when it gets in, you know, after it sits for the winter. But it is what it is. We'll get it figured out. You know, that's if you don't keep the fuel system flowing. And I usually don't start my cars in the winter, give cold starts. I think it's hard on the engine, especially this kind of engine, but it is what it is. But another thing, guys, I want to give a huge shout out to everybody that is subscribed to our channel. We hit 2,000 subscribers recently, and me and the missus were trying to put something together, maybe do a live feed and you know, draw numbers or something like that, or do a video and have somebody leave a comment and then put them in a hat, and then you know, give a couple, 3 people away some merch, maybe some hoodies, hats, t-shirts, something like that. But we just want to say thank you to everybody that subscribed and watches our videos and comments and leaves thumbs ups and all that stuff. We really appreciate it. So we will be doing something in the near future on that. But until then, guys, I'm just basically going to wait till she gets home, go get me some brake clean, and get everything on under here all cleaned up. And we'll bring you back in the next video and show you what we got accomplished. And go underneath the whole chassis and let you guys check out from front to back on the chassis on the underside and check it out. But you have to wait till the next video to see that. But until then, guys, as usual, I really appreciate everybody for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, and we'll catch you guys on the next video. All right, bye-bye.